Now, don't tell me y'all try to cancel Jack Harlow, man. Come on. Are you guys for real? Like, are y'all for real? Like, for real? Now, Jack Harlow, everybody's favorite white man. It's been a long ass time since we spoke about the boy Jack. The last time I touched on Jack, we spoke about his career, how he was doing music-wise and whatnot. Ever since then, which was over a year ago, Jack Harlow has most definitely elevated. He's doing really good right now and is obviously here to stay. I think at this point, he's not going anywhere. He's made a huge impact in the industry over the last 3 years, and I wish him even more success going forward. Now, that aside, I want to touch on this little controversy that happened about a week ago. Jack Harlow didn't start trending, but was the hot topic for a few days after one of his songs went viral. The song is called Gang Gang Gang. It's from his most recent project, Jackman, which is his third studio album, and it dropped on April 28 and is doing pretty decent. It didn't perform as well as his other drops, but that's beside the point. As for this Gang 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 record, a snippet of the song ended up going viral on Twitter a few days ago, and I'm sure since you know that Twitter is a breeding ground for getting your words misrepresented, you know what we're gonna talk about, right? That's exactly what happened here. On his Gang 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 record by Jack Harlow, he talks about a very important topic, which is male accountability, i.e. holding your friends, okay, as a man, accountable for their problematic ways and actions. What Jack essentially did on the song was share a personal experience of his involving someone he addresses as Marcus. Home for the holidays, Jack Harlow starts off by saying, "My friend pulled me to the side, like, did you hear about Marcus?" He continues, "A bunch of girls say he raped them in the back of some Target. They say he drove him back there in his car, and then he parked it, and the rest is even darker." Wait, which Marcus? Jack raps, "Cause it can be, yes, our Marcus," he says. "The same Marcus we collected Pokemon cards with. The one with perfect grades that has family in New Orleans. Yes, that Marcus. He's got 7 grape charges." By the way, I'm sorry that I gotta censor that word, but I can't really say it unless I want this video to get suppressed by the algorithm, okay? But I'm sure you can read in between the lines. So Jack Harlow on his record is exploring this experience that he had, where he found out that someone close to him raped women. Obviously, he's approaching it from the perspective of this guy that I knew that did this. He's sharing some of the memories attached to this person, and as he's doing that, he's kind of in disbelief as he raps about the despicable actions of said Marcus. Jack Harlow is not only holding himself accountable by speaking about this, but he's also trying to hold the listeners, specifically the men that listen to him, accountable. And the last verse is probably my favorite. We're gonna go over, that later, but on his second verse, Jack Harlow says this: "Home for the holidays," he starts off by saying, "My friend pulled me to the side, like, did you hear about Kevin?" "Kevin who?" "Our Kevin," Jack says. "What happened? He got arrested. They found a bunch of messages he sent to little kids, and apparently he met up with this 10-year-old, and now the kid's saying he got molested. Molested by who?" "By Kevin." "Nah, it's gotta be a different Kevin. Look, I'm telling you, it's Kevin that we've known since we're 7. The one whose dad's a reverend. The same Kevin we spend every weekend with and call brethren," Jack Harlow ends that verse with. Now, the hook of this record is Jack repeating, "Ride for my dogs, lie for my dogs, die for my dogs." And if you happen to not have any sort of critical thinking skills like a lot of the people on Twitter, what's gonna happen is your dumbass is gonna think he's saying something that's the complete opposite of what he's actually saying, and that's what happened, right? There are a bunch of people on Twitter who saw this viral snippet from the record who jumped on this and thought that Jack was saying the opposite of the intended purpose of the song, and they came to that conclusion because of a short little clip from the song where the verse he's rapping, that first verse about Marcus, transitions into the hook where he says, "Ride for my dogs, lie for my dogs, die for my dogs." And then people somehow took that and completely missed the mark. Like, y'all completely missed the mark. Now, I'm sure based on a snippet, one could make certain assumptions, but that's where your own willingness to figure out the truth for yourself comes in. This is where critical thinking skills comes into play, something y'all really need to fucking work on. This is where your own personal interpretation, not Twitter's, not social media's, your own interpretation of the message comes in. What is Jack saying? How is he saying it? And why is he saying it? If you ask yourself these 3 questions after listening to the full song, not just a snippet, the full song, and you still come to the conclusion that he's 1 foot in, 1 foot out on this particular topic, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. If you can't read in between the lines, how about do not comment on the lines is what I'm saying. I want to check out this last verse from the song, which will further explain what I'm talking about. So Jack starts off by saying, "Truthfully, it's family till it can be, gang till it ain't, twins but it depends, brothers until something is uncovered, dogs until the lifting of the fog, I always got you turns into, well, I never thought of you, years of camaraderie suddenly disappear disappears, almost like you were never here. Unconditional love becomes very conditioned when push comes to shove, and all that talk of taking bullets suddenly feels foolish. Pictures with him turn to ad campaigns, you gotta pull it. Feet held to the fire. We hold accountable the ones we hold dear out of morals, but mainly fear. The choice becomes clear, and years of camaraderie suddenly disappear, almost like you were never here.
He's spitting, bro. He's spitting.
Damn right that boy's spin, man. Standing ovations for Jack Harlow, who tackled a very important topic. A topic a lot of us as men don't want to talk about because it's uncomfortable to hold your homies accountable. Trust me, it's not easy because there's a certain camaraderie that comes with this as a man, something Jack himself spoke about. You see the homie moving in foul ways and you don't really say anything because that's your bro, that's your dog. Your so-called dog is a piece of shit. Admit it, bro. I'd argue that it's not your bro if he, number one, is a Marcus, aka the guy Jack was talking about, or if he's a Kevin, which Jack also spoke about. I can't for the life of me name a single rapper who's came out in the last few years who's dedicated an entire song to this exact topic. I'm sure there are, but right now off the top of my head, I can't. And I say that to say Jack Harlow covered a topic that not a lot of rappers have touched on. A lot of rappers are actually afraid of touching on, and a lot of rappers will not touch on because that means that they're gonna have to hold themselves accountable, which a lot of them are not trying to do. And why do you think that is? Well, take a guess. Cause half these niggas are around are all on this shit. Yes, I said it. It is what it is. Jack Harlow is so comfortable talking about this because that's not who he is. And that's not me basing anything on the fact that I know Jack Harlow personally. Obviously I don't. I'm just looking at what he did with this record. Jack made a statement with this record and essentially said, this is who I am. This is who I thought some of my homies were. And now that I found out who they are, I don't fuck with these guys because that doesn't align with my morals and values. They mean nothing to me because they did these horrible things to women and children. And to all my guys out there, hold your damn homies accountable and don't be on some that's my brother type shit. If your brother is a piece of shit, throw that nigga to the wolves, okay? You don't deserve no fucking sympathy. See, I don't need to know Jack personally for me to confidently say that he's not on this, because this man put himself on the line to get scrutinized and misinterpreted in order to deliver this very poignant message for the greater good of society. And that's what a real artist does, because it's not comfortable being an artist who prides themselves in touching on topics that are this uncomfortable to touch on. Because just like right now, you're gonna have a bunch of motherfuckers misrepresenting your message because they don't even have enough brain power to comprehend what it is that you're saying. But don't worry, Jack, I got you. It's also whack how people say shit like, you know, we want these mainstream rappers to touch on real topics that matter and, you know, this and that. But when a guy like Jack Harlow goes on a record and gives you exactly what you asked for, people are not only not trying to hear it, but y'all purposely try to spin this shit into something that he ain't even said. I want to take the time to salute Jack Harlow for this record because, bro, it's important that you talk about this. A lot of your peers might gloss over what you just did with this record because a lot of these niggas are on that. But that's not Jack, and he's really taking a stand here. I mean, he dropped an entire record dedicated to this topic. These kinds of things usually come with heavy scrutiny because ain't no way a young rapper could make such a well-written record about such a taboo topic. Now let's try to figure out if he's on what Marcus was on. You get what I'm saying? When you make a statement like this, there's gonna be people out there who try to find out things about you in order to try to discredit that statement that you just made because they're not comfortable with another man standing so firmly and so righteously on what he believes in. Luckily for Jack Harlow, he doesn't have to pretend. If he was pretending, he would never drop a record like this. Jack Harlow, I want you to know that you made a lot of your peers uncomfortable with the song Believe That. This does explore a very uncomfortable topic. I for sure can relate to this, and I think any man will be able to relate to a song like this. Maybe unlike Jack Harlow, you don't have a Marcus in your life as a guy, but you might have a Kevin, or if not that, some of your homies might just be toxic as hell. When we're having this conversation Jack hit on, it's not just about actions, it's also about words, meaning you might have some homies, like I said, who are toxic as hell. Some of them might be on some real misogyny, not that fake mainstream. I'm saying some of them might actually not like women. There's a lot of guys out there walking around with hatred in their heart for women. Believe that. I met a lot of those guys. And all my fellas out there, if you think being around your boys who got a lot of hateful things to say about women, don't think for a second that will not rub off on you. Before you know it, you're gonna become just like them, start to think just like them, and you're gonna scare the damn owls away. If you don't believe me, well, take a look around. Why do you think the owls are running away from you right now? They can sense that you don't like them, and that means that you probably don't like yourself. So take a look within. Jack Harlow is saying hold them accountable because the 5 people you surround yourself with and communicate with on a daily basis are the people who you'll eventually become. The question is, who are you becoming? Because it don't matter how much love you got for your homies. If they're garbage human beings, well, they probably don't belong at your wedding. Them niggas belong in a fucking container somewhere. And if you're offended by my speech, you are not the one it was supposed to reach. And I'll just cut it right there. Anyway, before you leave, drop a like on this video, okay? Also, make sure you're subscribed. YouTube has been playing with your boy. They're out here doing me dirty, man. People getting unsubscribed and all kinds of craziness. Anyway, any thoughts on this topic? Once again, shout out to Jack Harlow for a very powerful record, and I'm curious what your take on this is. Did you like the record? Was it a powerful record, or what did you think about it? I'm curious. Anyway, you have a good day, okay? And I'm out. Peace.